Welcome to our second autumn class. It's going to be a short class. If you were strapped for time, this is the one to come and do. It will be predominantly a twisting class and we won't be standing at all. It will be seated, hands and knees, lying down. So the props you're going to need are a blanket and I'm sitting on a beanbag, so you might want whatever props you need to sit well for the beginning of the practice. You might indeed want to sit on a chair. The movements are pretty much for the spine and the arms and the lung space. So get what you need and then settle. However you're sitting, can you find the front edge of your sit bones? Can you roll your shoulder blades back and just draw your chin back probably a little bit, having a sense of length in the back of the neck? And then just placing the hands somewhere on the legs so that the shoulders can relax, and then closing the eyes to begin practice. So as you settle, we're going to just have the first couple of exhales with the mouth open, so a normal inhale. And then as you exhale, it's a real letting go. And another breath where we exhale with the mouth open. And then gently closing mouth. And as normal, just trying to settle. Using the exhales to release and relax that outer shell of body. Becoming aware of any tension in the body that doesn't need to be there, especially around the shoulder area. And you know where you hold tension in the body. Is it the jaw or the hips? You know your patterns by now. So as you sit and just breathe, letting go, perhaps switching on Ujjayi breath, that slight closing of the back of the throat. Noticing what expands on the inhale, what can soften on the exhale. Autumn is this time where it becomes colder, hopefully drier, but windier. And as a season, it's a season of vata, or wind, space, air. This short twisting sequence will focus on witnessing and moving, freeing up the breath and the breathing spaces. So from the very off, we start noticing the breath, how it feels, where we can expand on inhale, where we can soften on exhale. And then on the next inhale, keeping the eyes closed if you like, bringing the hands to heart center with the thumbs resting against the sternum, against the heart space. Other fingers meeting, and that soft, gentle push into the hands, and it really is a tiny, tiny push where you feel the connection of each finger pad, of the edges all around the hands. And with that, you might feel that the collarbones open up a little more, that the shoulder blades integrate perhaps a little more into the back body. Does that change the breath at all? Does that give a little more space for the inhale? Just notice. And then on the next inhale, let's open our wings, perhaps raise the chin, open out the chest. On the exhale, as the palms come together, we arc backwards, tummy in, chin to chest. Keep going with that movement. On the inhale, opening those wings to front edge sit bones, open chest, open arms. And on the exhale, rolling to tailbone, curving the back, drawing back palms to palm. Keep going with your own breath. Inhale to open, exhale to close. So on that inhale, as we open up, we're bringing in new air, new energy, opening the space. And on the exhale, we're expelling stale air, stagnancy. One more breath. Lovely. On the next inhale as we open wide. Come to neutral, ready for side bend. So on the exhale, let one hand drop to the floor, other hand come over. Working dynamically with the breath. On the inhale, arms widen. Exhale to the other side. So find fluidity with your breath. Inhale to rise. On the exhale, coming over to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale to come over. Inhale, center. Next time you come over to one side, stay there and breathe. Witness the breath again. So perhaps on the first exhale, the bottom shoulder blade can come down the back a little, shoulder away from ear. And then on the next breath, maybe the top arm is your focus. So maybe you need to bend the elbow to be a little more comfortable. Or maybe you want to turn the head. So from the hollow at the base of the skull, we turn the chin, which is tucked in a little, to look up. And then maybe turning it to look down a little. Freeing up the neck space. And if that doesn't feel like nice for the neck, we don't do it. One more breath. Staying still. One more exhale, perhaps finding a little more side bend, and then on the inhale coming up. And on the exhale, go over to the other side. So again, first breath, thinking of the bottom shoulder coming down the back, away from the ear. Inhaling into top rib. Maybe the top elbow wants to bend a little. Does that help your side bend? Do you feel you can get into your ribs more? And then maybe the chin tucks in a little and maybe we turn the head, but you're not straining the neck. But keep focused on the breath. Where can you breathe into? One more inhale. One more exhale. And then on the inhale coming up. Exhale, arms, fingertips to floor, then single rotations in the shoulder blades. So one shoulder comes up and down and then the other. Feel each shoulder blade is mobile, independent of the other. Freeing up the space between the shoulder blades as well as each shoulder blade in turn. And then maybe the elbows want to come into play. Maybe the head. Make it feel good, and then can you go in the opposite direction? How does that translate into the movement? It's a much less clear pathway for me this way. Lovely, and then fingertips to floor again. Let's have little dynamic twists. So on the inhale, arms come up, maybe fingertips touch, and on the exhale, turning to one side, let the hands drop wherever they drop. Inhale, head and arms to center. Exhale, turning to the other side. Keep going with your breath. Inhale to center. Exhale to turn. Inhale to center. Exhale to turn. Inhale, center, and then this time as you twist, you're going to stay there. So on the inhale, we think length, sit bones to crown. On the exhale, there's perhaps a little more twist. We're not wrenching or pulling or pushing. We're letting the breath take the movement for you. And then maybe while you're in the twist on the inhale, maybe the head turns away from that back shoulder to go over to the other side. And then coming back over the back shoulder. So just the head turning. Again, from that hollow at the base of the skull, an integrated movement from the top of your spine. The next time you look behind that back shoulder, maybe the chin wants to tuck down a little, and maybe you can make little semicircles of chin into chest and then ear to shoulder. How does that feel in that twisted shape? And the next time the head comes over the back shoulder, lifting it to neutral, have one more breath. Inhale. Finding length on the exhale, twist a little more. And then on the inhale, arms face to center. And on the exhale, turning to the other side. All to do on this side, so shoulders are relaxed. We inhale, find length in the spine. On the exhale, perhaps find a little more twist. Settling into the twist and then maybe just turning the head. So perhaps in one half of the breath, chin turns to face over the front shoulder, and then on the other part of the breath, turning over the back shoulder, turning from the hollow at the base of the skull again. Freeing up the neck, part of that shoulder mechanism. Beautiful. And once you're looking over the back shoulder, maybe the chin wants to tuck in a little, swing down to the chest, and then ear to opposite shoulder. So making a little arc swinging motion with the chin, if that feels okay for your neck. And the next time the head faces the back, finding neutral again. One more inhale for height. On the exhale, can you find more twists? And then on the inhale, hands to center. Exhale, hands find the floor. And now just shoulder rolls with both shoulders. And in the opposite direction. Lovely, coming off our seat, either the chair or the cushion or whatever you're on. Coming onto hands and knees, so a time to pad the knees if that's always in your practice, if you've got padding handy. And then setting up for a cat-cow, so knowing to spread the hands well from the waist of the hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tops of feet on the floor, shoulder blades down the back, and on the inhale, sit bones come up, chest comes up, bend the elbows a little, and we look up. On the exhale, the tailbone rounds first, then the lower back, middle back, upper back, chin into chest, looking through the legs. Keep going with your own breath. Long, slow breaths. Tailbone starts the movement in both shapes. Long sides of body. And the next time you find yourself in a happy cat shape, stay there for a breath. On the exhale, you'll feel the tummy drawing in strongly, navel into spine, shoulders, blades down the back. Next inhale, bring the breath into the open chest. And then on an exhale, find angry cat, tailbone, lower back, middle back, upper back. Stay there for a breath. As you inhale into that open back. The lungs are in the back and the side of the body. Can you breathe into them? Exhaling, pushing through the hands, tummy drawing in. One more inhale there, and then on the exhale, find cat in the barrel. So send the ribs over to one side, coming down and then over to the other. And again, time it with your breath. Make it feel good for you. Really looking to free up this thoracic space, this rib space. And then taking it in the opposite direction, so whatever movement you feel opens up that space the best. It can become very fixed with age, so can we keep it mobile, less cage-like, lovely, and then perhaps those hula hoop type actions, so coming back towards the heels a little and coming round. Your hula hoop's now hovering over the mat and you're following that round with the hips and the wrists in the opposite direction. Lovely, finding neutral, settling, ready for thread the needle. Right hand on the inhale, the wing opens up to the sky. On the exhale, we're turning on the spine, feeding the arm through, bending, supporting elbow. Hand comes through, head comes down, supporting hand, walking out, finding elbow above wrist, fingertips on the floor. It's a very gentle push into the pads of the fingers, which just brings a little more twist to the ribs perhaps.
And then, as we did last week, perhaps you've got very small little circles coming into the hips to just free a little more space into that lower shoulder blade. And then taking the little circles in the opposite direction, only doing it if it feels good. Then a moment of stillness there. And if it felt alright, you could walk the hand up over the ear, fingertips on the floor, have a sense of length from left sit bone, left hip, all the way up to the left fingertips. Spine is again twisting, ribs opening, breathing into it. One more breath. Lovely, and then when you're ready, walking those fingertips back so the hand can support, and on the inhale, open that wing. Exhale, hand to floor. Taking a moment and then taking that in the opposite direction. So on the inhale, left arm opens, and on the exhale, we turn on the spine, feeding that arm through, bending the supporting elbow coming down. Walking supporting hand out to the edge of the mat or beyond it. Elbow above wrist, fingertips gently pushing into the floor. Feel the opening, the twisting in the ribs, let the breath get in there. And then taking those tiny little circles into the hips. One way. Can you feel that translate into movement into that shoulder blade area on the floor? Opposite direction. And then a moment of stillness again. Notice the breath. And then if you wanted to, walking the hand up over the ear, but only if it's comfortable. Fingertips on the floor. A sense of length from fingertips to right side hips. Sit bone. Length in the whole of the right side of the body, turning on the spine. One more breath. Lovely, and then walking the hand back to support you on the inhale, opening all the way open. Exhale, hand to floor. Easing off again. Ready for Vinny cat cow. So on the inhale, finding happy cat. On the exhale, arcing into that angry cat shape, but then letting the bottom come back to the heels or toward the heels. Find that wave-like motion, so on the inhale, come through into happy cat. Exhaling, bottom back to heels, rounding into the spine. Two more. Last time. Lovely. Take a moment then, worshipful. Wag the tail from side to side. Breathe into the back body as you stay there for a breath. Exhaling and softening. And then bringing the body up so that you can tuck the toes. We're getting rid of our blanket or putting it to the side for now. Coming up into downward dog. So pushing back, hips up. Keep a nice big bend in the knees and then walking out your dog. But you've already found the form from your hands. Armpits look at each other. Shoulder blades are wide. Front ribs are in. And then we're just walking out the backs of the legs. This is the most upright you're going to be for this practice. Really good. And then just taking a moment in downward dog statically. Both heels pulling away from the toes. Hip bones high. Breathing into open ribs, especially at the back. On the exhale, we feel the tummy drawing in. And then when you're ready, you look forward. Just walk the feet forward a little bit and take them wide to the edges of the mat. Hands are staying where they are. So they're on the floor. Do you need to bend the knees a little to really feel the hands are nicely placed on the floor? That's always an option. But if you can, you're going to lift up the right hand and take a place somewhere on the shin. And then just take a twist so you're bending the right elbow a little. You might have to bend the knees a little for that to happen. And you're turning almost underneath the outstretched arm, the left arm. Breathing into it, so a bit like thread the needle where the spine is long. One more breath. Lovely. You're placing the right hand on the floor, take a moment. And then when you're ready, left hand takes somewhere on the right shin, bending the elbow of the left arm, tugging on the leg a little to make the twist. But it's quite gentle. We've got length up the right side body, turning on the spine. One more breath. Lovely, and on the inhale, hand comes back to the floor. And then we step the feet back into our downward dog. See how that feels, perhaps walking the legs out again. Have a moment of stillness. And then on the inhale, coming through into our only plank. Find your form. And then on the exhale, knees to floor, rolling down through the thighs. Setting up for cobra, 3 dynamic cobras. So the feet well placed, rolling onto little toe side. Forehead pushes into the floor to begin with. Elbows are tucking in, shoulder blades down the back. On the inhale, rising up. Chest, chin. On the exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming up. Cobra. Exhale, coming down. Do you have to roll back your shoulders, roll them down each time to find a long neck? Or is it intuitive now to have that long neck? Lovely. Let's have a locust from here. So the hands are going down by the sides. The palms are down, slightly pushing into the floor. And they're going to remain down. Feel the chest opens a little. Shoulder blades flat on the back. Going to lift the chest and the legs on an inhale. So on the inhale, chest comes up, face comes up, legs come up. Staying there for a breath. So really pull away with the toes, with the crown of the head. Palms pushing into the floor, part of your base. Feel the chest is open. One more breath. Maybe lifting up a little higher. And then on the exhale, coming down. Hands underneath the shoulders, have an inhale. And then on the exhale, push back. Worshipful, toes together, knees wide. Breathe into it, maybe wag your tail a little. Maybe roll from ear to ear across the forehead. And then just stay there for a breath. Breathing into the back of the body. And then if you were alright to, keeping the elbows on the floor, you're bringing the palms of the hands together like a prayer. And perhaps walking the elbows forward a little. Palms come up over the head, forehead's on the floor. And there we are, breathing into open armpits, open shoulder blades at the back. Breathe into it. One more breath. And then pushing yourself up. Ready for our seated twists before we come down to the floor. So just finding the front edge of your sit bones. Do you need to have a prop rolled up, or can we just grab the back of the thighs so that the chest is open, so that we roll up onto the front edge of our sit bones and find a neutral spine? Have a breath there, just see, close the eyes, see how the breath is, how the spaces feel. Lovely, and then let's outstretch the right leg. You're still holding on to the bent leg to find that long spine and open chest, but maybe the foot can come further in and you can hold into the front of the shin. This is maybe where you stay for the twist. We're going to turn to the left side towards that bent knee, or maybe you're okay to step the foot over
but you're not changing anything in the legs. The left foot needs to be flat on the floor, so if it's not, you can either bring the leg in a little, the outstretched leg, or just bring it back to the inside. If this is really easy for you, you might be able to bend the right leg as well, crossing that to the outside of the left hip. But again, that left foot is still flat on the floor. You've still got something to hold on to find the front edge of your sit bones. So wherever you are, choose the option that suits your body. And then the left hand, you're opening, twirling the thumb open to open out this area into the pectoral, into the armpit, placing the fingertips on the floor. We're inhaling for length, and on the exhale we're twisting to the back shoulder. We're inhaling, finding length. On the exhale, perhaps a little more twist. So it's almost like the navel is turning on the inner edge of that left thigh. Inhale's all about length. Exhale, perhaps a little more twist. Closing the eyes, being in the breath. How can the breath get in there to help move and open? One more breath. Lovely, and then on the inhale, twisting back to centre, undo the legs. Have a moment just finding that original position with the knees bent. Bending along spine, close the eyes, see how you feel, see how the breath is. Is there any difference in the sides, in the breath? Lovely, and then now it's the left leg extending. The toes are facing up to the sky, part of your base. Drawing in the right knee perhaps a little, still finding long spine. You're going to mirror whatever you did on the other side, if that's possible on this side of the body. So if the foot came over, you're making sure it's flat on the floor. If the leg needed to move in a little for that to happen, that's what you're doing on this side. Or if you felt you could bend the outstretched leg, that left leg to the outer edge of the hip, that's what you're doing here. Foot still flat on the floor. And now this time it's the left thumb spinning out a little, so we open into the armpit area, finding a place where we can hug into that leg, so we find length. We inhale to centre, and on the exhale we find the twist. You can close the eyes and just find the twist with your breath. Inhale's about length. Exhale's about the twist. Really notice where the inhale can get into, what stretch you find from the inside. Find the space to twist into on the exhale. Lovely, one more breath. And then on the inhale, come back to centre. Undo the legs again and have that moment of just feeling the echoes of the breath, of the twist, of the undoing. Really noticing the breath. Fantastic. So we're going to roll down to the floor using our cores. This is the opportunity to have your socks handy or blankets handy. I've got my blanket folded so it's a fairly long pillow for chalk circle, which is coming up. So have that handy. You might need the extra blanket if it's chilly for your relaxation at the end. You could even put your socks on now if you wanted to, jumpers on. But when you're ready, having that roll down with the exhale. So rolling down through the spine, gradually coming down with control, working the core. If you had lots of time, you could keep rolling up and rolling down. If you wanted to work the core a little more, keeping the arms level with the floor, coming down. Once you get down there, knees into chest, have a nice little ease up, roll around. So the first movement that we'll make is a fluid
dynamic windscreen wiper, and then we'll come to chalk circle, and then another posture on our fronts from chalk circle. So the feet are wide, the arms are wide-ish, and a very fluid dynamic movement for windscreen wipers. So the exhale lets the knees come over to one side. On the inhale it comes back to centre, and on the exhale over to the other. So again, you can close the eyes and just feel almost like a massage as you exhale. You're giving weight to the parts of the body that you're rolling over as the knees drop over. Feeling a stretch in the front of the body perhaps as well, and on the inhale we come back to centre, enjoying that slow return. Exhale, slowly coming down to the other side. So timing your movement with your breath. So twisting the body from the base to the top now. So really thinking about the knees making the twist rather than the arms. So an equal number to both sides. And then coming back to center. We're going to roll over onto our left side for chalk circle. So as we did before, last week we came back to the back of our mat. So the hips were at the back edge of the mat. The shoulders were as well. We've now got this nice wide blanket, and we're placing our head in the middle so that there's enough behind you. Making sure the shoulders underneath, palm on palm. Then the knees are in line with the hips, the ankles in line with the knees. And then chalk circle, so familiar, just going with it when you are ready. So the inhale, the arm clocks up overhead. There's that pause, and then the exhale comes, arm clocks over the legs to complete the circle. So 3 dynamic movements with your breath. Inhale to open, maybe closing the eyes, exhale to close. But can you find the pause of breath between inhale and the exhale and the inhale? 3 dynamic movements with the breath, opening on the inhale, exhale makes the close. And then this time staying open. So once you're fully open and static, find a comfortable arm position. So maybe the elbow needs to bend, maybe the arm can be straight. But you're not over egging it so that your muscles have to tense up. You want a bit of softness. So find that place for your body. On the inhale, you'll feel the arm rise perhaps. On the exhale, you'll find a falling, a softening. Again, thinking about the inhale, drawing in clean, clear, crisp air, opening from the inside. And on the exhale, it's about that letting go, that softening. One more breath. And then the next time you exhale, completing your circle on that side. And we'll work into half dragonfly posture on this side. So let the top hand support you while you get the legs straight down from you now. There's no bend in the knees. So stacking the body at the back edge of your mat. If it's okay for you, what you're going to do is roll onto the shoulder. So tummy will end up on the floor. If that's absolutely not going to happen for your structure, if that's sore for your shoulder, your option is to lie on your back and just draw the arm over your body, but without the gravity of your body on top. But if you're happy to, left arm is outstretched, legs are outstretched, right hand on the floor. And then on the exhale, gradually taking the weight with the supporting hand, so you can just suss out if it feels okay for your body, rolling around, perhaps all the way around onto your tummies. Tops of the feet are on the floor, possibly you're just shuffling the blanket so that it can rest underneath the forehead, so there's room for you to breathe. And the supporting hand could perhaps become part of that pillow, the forearm, and elbow bent is part of the pillow under the forearm. Or if it's comfortable too, you can have the right arm outstretched over the ear, fingertips on the floor, just like we did in Thread the Needle. But now we're face down. Close the eyes and breathe into sensations, into tightness. But on the exhale, can you let go? Can you soften? Depth of breath on the inhale. Exhale, softening. One more breath here. And then when you're ready, supporting hand, right hand comes to the floor to just roll the body back around. And then very gently you're coming onto your back, the middle of your mat again. And just lie on your back with the knees bent, arms slightly away from the body to just feel. Maybe close the eyes. How does the breath feel? How does the body feel? What echoes of what you've been doing are still in the body? And then when you're ready, rolling over onto your right side now for chalk circle on this side. So again, bring the body back, bottom to the edge of the mat, shoulders to the edge of the mat, knees in line with hips, ankles in line with knees, setting up that blanket so we're midway, palm on palm. And again, when you're ready, 3 dynamic openings. So on the inhale, arm swoops up overhead. There's that pause when we open. And on the exhale, arm clocks over the legs to close the circle. So you know if you want to open your book rather than clock the arm. But the opening's on the inhale. The closing is on the exhale. Close the eyes, be in your breath. So find that optimal arc for the arm. It might be different on this side. Maybe you need to bend the elbow. Exhale, close the movement. After 3 dynamic, 4th time you open, you're staying open for about 5 breaths. Find a comfortable place for the arm, is elbow bent or arm long. Close the eyes and just feel what the breath does to the body. Is there that rising on the inhale? That falling on the exhale? Where you can soften the lower back as well as the shoulders, wherever is tight. And then just ride the breath here. Sense what can open from the inside on the inhale, what you can fall into on the exhale. Fantastic. So the next exhale comes, we're completing our circle. Ready for half dragonfly on this side. So again, the top hand is helping you balance while you let the legs go straight. And then when you're ready, that's allowing the weight to roll over that bottom shoulder so the body rolls around. Maybe you have to stay there for a breath, or maybe you can come all the way around onto your tummies. It's less open on this side for me, but I'm okay to do that. I'm just placing the blanket underneath my forehead so I've got a space to breathe. And then I'm okay to extend my arm up over my ear, over my head, fingertips on the floor. But you might want to bend the elbow and have the forearm as part of your pillow under the forehead. Just be wherever you're comfortable. Or maybe you're doing what you did on the other side and lying on your back and just having that straight arm being pulled over your body by the other arm. But we're all getting this opening on the back of the shoulder blade. You're closing the eyes and breathing into whatever sensations you find. Where can you let go of on the exhale? So we've got open armpits, open shoulder areas. Where can the breath get into? Where can you soften on the exhale? One more breath. Lovely, and then the hand comes to the floor to support you so that you can gently unwind. And then again, very softly and gently coming onto your back one last time. Close the eyes, arms out to the sides a little. Just let that filter through the body. How is the breath now? So we're coming towards Shavasana now, so really scan the body and see what it would like to do. I'm always quite keen on a happy baby, so I'm going to draw my knees in towards my chest initially, then opening the knees and drawing them in towards the armpits. Maybe that's your version of happy baby, and you could rock from side to side. Or maybe you can bring the shin part of the leg further up, feet above the knees perhaps. And again, grabbing onto calves or shins or ankles and having a little rock from side to side there. If you're very open in the hips, maybe you can grab the outer edges of the feet. But it's not a competition, you're just making it feel good. So for me today, I'm just going to hold my ankles, have a little side to side rock. My lower back is long, breathing into open ribs. And then a moment of stillness. Perhaps you would rather do a knees into chest, easing off. Maybe you want to do a rolling bridge. What does your body want to do? Lovely, and then when you feel ready, knees come in, feet find the floor. Have a moment resting there, whatever you've done, just let it integrate into the body. And I feel ready just to stretch out one leg and then the other. You might have to put socks on, you might want to put a blanket on. But when you find Shavasana, you might have this blanket still under your head so the chin is nicely tucked in, the back of the neck is long. Shoulder blades are underneath the back, palms are up, or if the floor is cold, maybe hands need to rest on tummy. So just make allowances for whatever space you're in. You want to be comfortable and warm. And we'll have a very short relaxation. So finding Shavasana, relaxing the body, relaxing the face and the forehead. Area between the eyebrows is soft, both cheeks soft, inside of the mouth soft and jaw relaxed. The back of the neck is soft, tops of shoulders soft, whole of the torso, front and back relaxed and heavy, tummy, lower back soft, pelvis heavy, hips soft, whole of the right leg, upper leg, calf, foot, sole of foot soft, whole of left leg is soft, upper leg, calf, foot and sole of foot, both arms soft, both hands soft, everything soft and heavy on the floor. Each eye switched off, breath back to normal. And as you lie there, you can imagine you're in a space surrounded by autumnal trees. And you can notice the browns, the oranges, yellows and golds of the leaves. And rest not only in the joy of their beauty, but also in the knowledge that once their leaves fall to the ground, they'll form a soft, protective and nutrient-rich blanket for the earth and the roots below it. Now as you inhale, can you draw in the cool, crisp, clean air? And as you exhale, can you allow that renewing, regenerating,
comforting blanket of air to go to all parts of your body. Inhaling that cool, crisp air. Exhaling and sending it outward to all cells of yourself until you hear the bells. If the mind wanders, bring it back to those autumnal trees, that autumnal air. Inhaling that clean, crisp air. Exhaling, directing that wonderful, comforting energy to every cell of your body. If you've got more time and you want to stay there longer, just ignore my voice for the next few minutes. If you're coming with me, take a deeper inhalation. Exhale and soften. Inhale more deeply still. Exhaling, softening, staying centered, and on the next deep inhale, maybe wriggle fingers and toes. Maybe the head wants to turn a little. And then making any movements you want to make, so maybe stretching, maybe knees into chest, easing off any way you need to ease off, but stay centered. When you're ready, rolling over onto right side. For a moment on your side, maybe you want to hug yourself on your side as you gently open the eyes. Reconnect with the space that you're in. And when you're ready, top hand can find the floor so that you can gently bring yourself up to seated. Finding the front edge of your sit bones. Rolling the shoulders back and open. Tops of shoulders relaxed. Crown of head tall. Hands to heart center, that gentle press. Thumbs against sternum. On the inhale, find length from sit bones to crown. On the exhale, chin to chest. Namaste. Thank you. See you next time.